welcome everybody to another marketing open discussion. Today we'll be talking about AI, a bunch of things AI, all the things AI. Well, as much as we could fit in an hour about AI. Thanks for making it and being on time. Everybody else that's coming in, they'll just have to, catch on. Figured we have a little bit of fun today and include as many ideas and thoughts and theories and work together by having an open discussion, by letting people to chime in, not just having a speaker talk about the topic that they're the best at, but by getting the influence of everybody in the room. My name is Roberto da Costa. I started VR networking in 2020, and I thought it would be fun to bring networking into VR. We are not in VR, as you can see, but our friend Alex is in VR right now. And this is a little spoon feed of what we're going to be doing at our next event in 2 weeks from now. On the 26th, we'll be running an immersed event in VR. We'll be talking about AutoGPT and God mode. And it'll be a VR specific event, but we will have a window into that event, and we'll be hosting the event on Zoom so people can kind of join in from 2D and participate as well. So nobody's left out. So I want to open up the discussion, but first let's do some clerical work here. I want to allow everybody to put in a little bit of their information on the chat here. This is a networking event, so I've written up a little template here, a little about me. You guys could use this as an example. Let us know your name, tell us your business name, the URL to your business and the email. Let us know how you help people, and let us know who you're looking for so we could help connect you. And at the bottom, you could put in your LinkedIn URL so we could easily find you and friend you. The other thing that I want to bring up is while we're hosting these events, we do have only 1 hour, well, 57 minutes now, right? So we want to keep things as concise and on topic as possible. So if you do have something great to add, feel free to add it, but do keep it rounded down to a maximum of 2 minutes, right? So that way we're not running on one topic and staying on one lane. And I will enforce that. I'll be kind about it, but I will enforce that and make sure that, we keep the ball going. The second thing is the reactions. In Zoom, you're able to click the reactions button on the bottom and then click the raise hand button. That'll help me moderate, so I know that you want to say something, and I'll be able to push you up and tell people, hey, Ian wants to say something. Let's give Ian a chance. So that way Jim knows, hey, Jim, stop talking now.
Not to mention any names.
Not to mention any names. And the last thing is that there are no stupid questions. So I want to make sure that everybody feels comfortable. Sup, Michael? I want to make sure everybody feels comfortable with asking a question. This is new. AI is relatively new. How we apply AI is brand spanking new. So there are no stupid questions. The only stupid question is, should I ask this question? The answer is yes, you should. So let's get comfortable and let's rock the event. I want to bring in Jim. Why don't you introduce the topic, introduce yourself, and tell us why we should love you.
Well, 2 out of 3 isn't bad. So my name is Jim Intriglier, and I have been in IT business in the technical side for over 30 years. I believe that AI is an internet moment, an iPhone moment, a personal computer moment. It is revolutionizing and is revolutionizing everything, every industry. And the way I've perceived this is, okay, we have this new awesome technology. How can we use it to our best advantage? This topic is on marketing. And I have a marketing background, as many of you do, especially if you're self-employed, and also sales. So that said, we have a lot of people on the call that have marketing and sales background. I want to open the discussion to the floor to say, what are your thoughts on how you've used AI, whether it's ChatGPT or maybe something on the Hugging Face platform, to help you with your marketing, and what have you seen as a benefit, and what has your experience been?
Sounds good.
I'll go first if that's okay. Todd Lewis here. Hopefully you can all hear me okay. I am a marketing, I've been involved in marketing for small to medium-sized businesses for about 35, 38 years now. My experience so far in AI used in marketing is relatively small, as it is with a lot of people right now. This technology is taking off so quickly. We're all just kind of scrambling to keep up. And like Jim said, it's changing businesses all over the place. The big thing for me, just to kind of start, where I've toyed a little bit with primarily ChatGPT is in addition to being a marketing consultant and a marketing I craft marketing for people. I'm a hired copywriter, but I also do video editing, content creation, stuff like that. I think ChatGPT for everyone can be a wonderful way to start a process when it comes to marketing. One of the biggest challenges for people is the blank page, the blank screen, sitting in front of the keyboard and wondering, how do I even start this marketing message or this Facebook post or this direct mail campaign or direct response advertising, whatever it is. And I think ChatGPT can be a great way to get over that blank page syndrome, because as a writer, one of the things that we learn right away, regardless of what medium you're writing in or what genre, whether it's for marketing or screenwriting or playwriting or whatever it is that rewriting is easier than writing. That a huge part of writing is rewriting. So if people can get over that hump and have ChatGPT write the first draft of their marketing message, it becomes infinitely easier to go through it and go, oh, this works. Oh, I don't like this. So I'd move this over here, blah, 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 and get past that hump of, I don't know where to begin. So that's been what I've been playing with this, because what I've found so far, just with ChatGPT, as many of you I'm sure have, is that it gets things wrong. It gets facts wrong. It gets things wrong, So as you're going through it, you have to kind of tweak things, but that can also really help with the process in pulling things out of you that you weren't even thinking of putting in here, that maybe, oh, that has to be tweaked, but it gave me a good idea. So that's what I've been using it for primarily so far.
Sweet. Neko, you have your hand raised.
Yes, I do. Actually, Todd said it's close to what Todd said. I've been using ChatGPT for a few months now, and the main thing I use it for, I try to post a video blog / written blog every week, and I'm doing it much easier now with the help of ChatGPT, because my video blogs are about video for business, the different things that you can do using video for business and marketing and stuff like that. And of course, I know my stuff, but to get to come up with a new topic every week may be difficult, and so what I did in the beginning, I just said, just asked ChatGPT to I try to do my prompt, like the answers are as good as your prompts are. So I try to prompt it correctly. I asked for new topics and about my issue, came back with like 20 topics. I said, okay, this I already did. Now give me new topics, and it did give me. And then in writing the weekly blogs, it's really helpful. I'm of course I'm not using word by word, but instead of taking me an hour to write a blog, now it's taking me less than half an hour, because I have good chunks of what ChatGPT told me that I know it's right. Of course, again, I know the issue. When you do that with stuff that you don't know, that's a little bit dangerous. But if it's stuff that you do know, and you said, "Oh, I didn't think about it," or I wouldn't write it this way, but I like this better. So has been very very useful for me so far.
Yeah. Before I give Alex the mic here to round these two talking points up is, just getting the rough draft is one thing, but the ideation is really the step here, right? The rough draft is hard enough. But the idea,
getting new ideas. It's very good for getting new ideas.
when
Sometimes you run dry.
Yeah, when working on SEO, you want to become a topic authority on a specific angle of one of your services or products. To do that, you have to write about everything about that thing, right? So when you are sitting here and thinking, oh, well, what else could I write about roller skates, right? I've written everything there is. Well, ChatGPT is there. Hey, ChatGPT, write me 100 different angles or on topics about roller skates. And, out of the 20 or 40 that you wrote, there's 60 other ones that ChatGPT easily could have come up with. And then you could easily just ask for more, right? Alex, you have the mic, buddy.
Okay, well, thank you all for joining us today. By the way, for anyone that does have a headset and would like to join me here in the Space Lounge and Immersed, it's as simple as launching the app, going to public rooms and selecting Space Lounge. I do have one person here with me, Janus, am I pronouncing your name correctly? Who is also on the Zoom call. So, part of what we want to do through VR networking is demonstrate the power of virtual reality networking, and it is a different experience, of course, if you're here than on the Zoom. So again, anyone who would like to join, go for it. My focus has been more on sales and sales enablement. And so what I'm seeing though, as buyers desire to do more asynchronous self-directed learning as part of their learning journey, that linkage between sales and marketing, which has always been critical, is even more critical than ever. So that when the client finally wants to talk to you, you're smoothly taking the baton from the marketing side. And so, my goal with ChatGPT is both to help buyers optimize the time they spend, because we can use AI to better define the prospects we target, and therefore focus on those that we have a better chance of closing. And then when we do actually talk to them, hopefully say something that's relevant. And I think, one of the other really valuable things I'm finding from AI is the ability to hyper-personalize our messaging and do it at scale. So those are the some of the things where I see the connective tissue, if you will, between the marketing stuff, the marketing activities, and the ability to optimize your selling time and sales outcomes. That's my focus. And, if anybody would like to connect, I put my LinkedIn post in the chat, please reach out. One more thing I'll share is I co-lead the Atlanta chapter of the Virtual Reality Association. And if anyone's interested in learning more about that organization, do a tremendous amount of work in a broad range of areas in all sorts of XR technologies. And happy to share more details about that as well, if anybody would like to know. Back to you, Roberto. Thank you.
Sweet. We just had her hand up. I'm not sure if she wants to go next. Jess, did you want to say something? Jessica Spencer. And just in case we have another Jess. Okay, we're going to move on to Tanya. Tanya, you have the mic.
Hi, guys. Thank you for allowing me to join you today. I have several different brands. One is Fashion Tech Week New York, which is a conference that brings together designers from all around the world that create with some form of technology, be it AR, VR, AI, 3D print technology, and so on. However, when it comes to AI, I have been using it to create digital fashions in my digital fashion gallery that's called Meta Fashion Gallery, and it's on Instagram. So I used it in that way with Leonardo AI. And when it comes to Chat GPT, I had an incredibly strange experience that when I first start researching the AI area, I put in the names of my different companies. And when I did, I asked who owned those companies. And what shocked me is my name, my personal name, never came up. Other people's names came up that I know that do different types of events in tech. And I was like beside myself. I was like, what is this AI thing? Is fake. Or I thought maybe someone was manipulating algorithms. And one of my technology guys was like, no, they can't do that. I said, but why can't they do that? They can do everything else. I mean, if they're creating AI and they can create a fake president speaking, why couldn't they, manipulate algorithms to say that a certain other person owns my companies? I still haven't gotten the answer to that. If any of you guys on this call know the answer to that, I would love to hear it, because that was one part of it that I'm not happy about. But other than that, I've been using it to create beautiful fashion images and things like that, and that's working out very nicely. But I read different things, and it wasn't, certain things were not true, especially in the Chat GPT. You have to read everything. You can't just, put it up there and think
Yeah.
that just because you put in a certain desire that it's going to spit out exactly what you're looking for, because you will be disappointed. So can somebody like chime in and tell me why somebody else owns all my companies?
So, so I mean, if sometimes it'll get it wrong, it'll just say something to you. But recently, ChatGPT has been able to connect to the internet. So if it does get it right, and it shouldn't have been fed that information before, it's probably because it's able to search now. So it really does depend, but it's kind of like a black box AI right now. Nobody really understands how it's thinking or where it's pulling this information from, and how it why it's spitting it out this way. But that's a good question. And I'm sure ChatGPT or OpenAI will have some way of answering that in the future, but I don't think anybody in this room would have that answer for you. At
Well,
least,
actually,
Yeah,
I knew the people's names that were supposed to be the owners of my company. That's what really pissed me off.
yeah.
yeah. Do you mind if I chime in for a moment?
Yes,
Go
it's
ahead.
all you.
Yeah, so I think a lot of times what it's doing, so it was fed a very large amount of the internet data over the past however long, I think going up to 2021, right? So it has that cutoff in data. But it also is making connections about the frequency of words that it's seeing with other mentions. So there's definite gaps in how it translates that data back out to you, and definite inaccuracies. If you're using GPT 3.5, which is like kind of the basic version that came out with Chat GPT originally, I know that there's definitely lower validity in the data at that point. Now GPT 4.0, I think it's in the 90th percentile on the bar exam now, which originally when it was a 3.5, it was like in the 10th percentile. So they've made huge, leaps over the past few months, and the validity of the data that it's spitting back out at you. One thing that's been really cool, I think it's Bing. It has the AI built into it now too, and I think it actually comes up with references with it that show you where it got that information from. So we're definitely seeing improvements in how it translates back information to you when you put queries in. But I know, like, especially early on, like back in November and December, there were a lot of issues with data validity.
Well, that was around the time, so my hair was on fire that night. I was
Yeah.
like, what is going? Oh no, I'm very upset. So I'll go back and try this again and see if it comes out with the right data. But
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, if they're doing this and I'm putting it in myself, suppose someone else is putting it in and they're getting this, and then they're gonna say that wasn't your company. So and so owns your company, blah, blah, blah. That was very not good. Not good,
Definitely.
especially if we're going to rely on this source to give us tools that we think we can accomplish certain objectives, and then it's all haywire. So,
Tanya, I want to
yeah.
touch on that next, but I want to make sure that Jess, if you did have a question before or an input before, other than that, did you want to bring that up?
Oh, yeah, the only other thing I'll say, I love using Chat GPT. I'm just amazed by all the different use cases that there are right now for it. I know I just did a class on Chat GPT for teachers, which is broken up into different modules. So my husband teaches a 6th grade, and we found it's really helpful for like lesson planning, for doing things like even having historical simulations with folks like Martin Luther King or Aristotle, or it's just really cool. So I don't know. I did up some different use cases around that. I know I use it a ton from the marketing side. It's great for building out buyer personas. So I've loved using it for that, because you can even feed it in like interviews that people have done and things like that, and then create personas around specific people. So I know, like, I work within healthcare IT, and so looking at like healthcare CIOs and pulling in that information, all of a sudden you can see from several different interviews that a single person's done. It can quickly find those patterns and like what their pain points are and what their drivers are and those types of things, and it's huge. So that's been really cool to see.
Yeah. There's I've built a couple personas myself just to ask negative questions to how I'm selling something, give me some contradictions to what I'm saying. So it helps me with that too. How to phrase things a little bit better, how to give it a different angle to what I'm trying to explain. So that helps a lot too. And I've seen a lot of templates online. If anybody has anything to say to templates that you guys found for prompting, those would be helpful. Also, if you guys have any references or links to share, put them on the chat here so we could get that link. I'm going to share a couple here in a second. Dragos, thanks for coming.
Roberto,
Yeah.
if I could just real quick, a number of people have been pinging me privately in the Zoom chat about joining the meeting in VR, and I just want to repeat, if anybody wants to join here, it's just, you have to have the Immersed app, but if you have the Immersed app, it's as simple as just selecting the space lunch from public rooms. And if you need further support, just send me another private DM and I'll do my best to get you in.
Cool. Yeah. So if you have Immersed and you want to jump in VR, jump in. Next, the 26th, we'll be hosting a VR specific event on AutoGPT. This is a mid-event reminder. AutoGPT and God mode. This is the 26th of this month, and it'll be in VR. We will also have a Zoom call, so you guys can still participate if you don't have a VR headset. Still be there, but we'll all be hanging out in the room and talking live in person. Dragos, go ahead, buddy.
Hello. Yeah, I've been using I guess more relevant here. I've been using ChatGPT and Midjourney for our in-house marketing. We have like a small XR company. We do small projects, and we also have an in-house app. And we're trying to promote it, which wasn't very easy as we aren't marketing people. But I think ChatGPT is a great creative partner. I avoid getting facts from it or using it to generate code for me or whatever, because it's not working great yet. But for creative stuff or suggestions, or even, I think it even helped me with suggestions on how to improve our user experience in the app and even designs. That, and also using it together with Midjourney, I think it helped us improve our external image a lot with very low effort. So I think it's like it's like a free consultant for me, at least. It's someone I throw out ideas with, and I try to find, it's like a discussion partner, more like. So yeah, for us, it's been a good match, I guess, for things we are not very good at. For things we already know how to do is not very helpful. And for things we know nothing about, again, it can be deceiving. But there where you're just a beginner, I guess it's a very good learning partner. And yeah, there are lots of websites, like for instance, I also share on the chat, that can summarize YouTube videos that are an hour or more in just a few sentences, or PDFs or whatever. They start to be a lot of startups around it. Yeah, so that's my experience with it.
Yeah, I'm curious about what you guys are all using ChatGPT, and I'm not trying to bring up just your average content production or ideation, but I'm wondering if you guys are using ChatGPT or any other AI in the way that Dragos just mentioned, as a consultant, giving it a ton of data and asking for specific questions around your subject, whatever work you're working on. Jim, I just saw your hand up. Did you want to chime in right now?
Yeah, actually, and by the way, I'm going to put some content up if anybody's interested. I have a pretty good understanding of how ChatGPT works and why I would give you that result, Tanya. So if you send me an email, I'll be happy to send you some resources so you can get a little bit more informed as to why you're getting those responses. I've been working with role playing with ChatGPT now for about 4 weeks, and also other models. One is called API, which was it's Inflection AI. This is a platform that's being marketed as a personal assistant, whether it's personal or business assistant. And basically, the bottom line is it's almost programming in English for those of you who have some programming background. You literally talk to it and tell it about your business, your lines of business, your customers, your target audiences. And then you say, you are an expert in marketing, or you are a vice president in marketing, or you are an expert sales professional. What do you think of all that? And you will be amazed at what comes back. If it's not something you can use right off the bat, it'll give you food for thought to do further research. And you can go back and forth and develop ideas. And that's what I've found most beneficial.
Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, I've been trying to give ChatGPT the same thing, like without having just use ChatGPT for 4.0. Just a bunch of ask me 21 questions about my business, and then tell it to become that specific thought leader or consultant professional, and it tends to be pretty good. I want to hear from the audience though. If you guys have anything else that you guys tried out that is unique, and you think that nobody else really has thought up yet, give me some input here.
Hey, I'm Jesse. Oh, yeah, I don't know how to raise my hand either. Go ahead though.
So, hey, let me just public service announcement. The second icon on the bottom from the right, it says reactions. And if you click on that, one of the options is raise hand.
Gotcha.
Thank you, Alex.
I don't have that. May I
Yeah, go ahead.
add something? Thanks. I want to apologize for not even being able to show a picture of myself. My video camera is permanently broken and I can't even show you guys what an image of me looks like. I got very, very excited by the idea of generating content that we will need for our nonprofits communication stream using chat AI. And then it came to my attention that I better be careful about anything that it delivers to me because it may not be factually accurate. And while I was excited, I came across a guy in Eastern Europe who has 400 hacks for how to get chat AI to write what you're looking for. And if anyone is interested in that, I'll try to find it and put it in the chat.
Yeah, 100%. Please share. Ryan also shared a the Rundown AI, which is a newsletter. You can follow their thread on Twitter. It's also here on the chat here. If you guys see that, Ryan, yep, just shared. Thank you for that, Ryan. I do actually subscribe to the Rundown AI, so they are pretty good. I can vouch for that. And
Roberto, I interrupted somebody with that comment
Jesse.
about these reactions. So I'm not sure who that was, but they.
That was Jesse. So I was going to give him the go here. Go, Jesse.
Go. First of all, thanks for putting this on, Robert. And I'm amazed to not see you in VR there, Jim, by the way. You know, one way that I've used it is by chunking documents in. So, you know, it's that 8,000 character limit. You know, I just really chop it up, plop it in there in a chat session up to 8,000 characters, stop it right away, put another 8,000 in, stop it, another 8,000, stop it. You know, and in that sense, you can kind of chunk it in if you don't have ability to update it. But I do know that you can also update your models as well, or fine tune them, you know, by adding, kind of like what Jim was saying, you're saying what type of person or role that the AI is playing as the first thing, and then you're saying then what the question might be, and then what a correct answer might be. And if you fine tune your model that way, you can also do that. But one thing I most recently got accepted for was the Azure OpenAI Cognitive Services offering that they have, and I haven't looked at it yet, but man, it looks pretty darn sweet. It's basically you're just uploading documents, just straight up uploading your own enterprise documents or whatever else, and then you can ask questions on it. You know, and for me, things came into my head as far as, you know, Whisper AI getting transcripts from all the meetings, and then going back and, you know, doing a chat session and asking, so, hey, remember that meeting that we had? Or, you know, not even referencing a meeting, you know, but with ChatGPT doing something like that, but also with cognitive services, you know, it'll give you the sources for those. And one last quick thing is, I forget who was mentioning it as far as the information not being good. You know, there is a little down voting kind of a thing on each of the messages. And I've done that a decent amount, both up and down, you know, and you can just say it's incorrect, and, you know, I don't know if they'll fix it or not, but anyways, just, you know, if you see your business in there and it's being referenced by somebody else, I'd say click that down thing and say, hey, this is not right. I'm the owner or something, you know.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know if they can fix that. I mean, they all have those little support, thumbs up, thumbs down.
Sure.
Who knows if they do?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that, Jesse. Next time, I'm hoping that we'll be in VR together. Also, Miguel, before I send you the megaphone or the microphone here, I want to make sure that everybody knows, like, the point of this event is to share ideas, to get creative and explore what else can be done by ourselves by sharing all these insights. You know, I think we have 26 brains here. That's a lot of brain power. So I appreciate everybody that's putting some thought here and giving out some of your insider details or secrets. And it helps a lot. And I'm sure everybody here is going, I'm going to send everybody a chat thread here, so everybody has the information, all the links later. That way nothing goes missing. And this should help. So thank you again, Miguel. I am going to give you the megaphone. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you for putting this together. Hi, everyone. My name is Miguel Calderon. I am a technical recruiter. As I see here, everyone is pretty seasoned. So I've been in the industry for 22 years. And I've recruited for several different types of industries, from oil and gas, manufacturing, aerospace, IT. And one of the ways I'm using ChatGPT is to help me construct Boolean searches for those particular positions. So I would input the job description. I would even input profiles that are similar to what I'm looking for, and then fine tune the Boolean search as I'm asking, look for this, look for that, or more of this, less of that, and then trying to hone in on the Boolean search. It is not 100% perfect. If I copy and paste the Boolean search from ChatGPT to any of the search engines, a lot of the times it doesn't yield anything. So I have to actually clean it up and just making sure that the formula is correct and the syntax is correct as well. And then sometimes just take some things out that might not be relevant just because it's not pertinent to the job. So I'm using that to help me build my Boolean searches.
It's a great idea. Yeah, I've used ChatGPT. I don't know who else here, actual literal raise of hands, unless you have your camera off, who's used ChatGPT for helping you with the code on your website? Some debugger. It's great. It is awesome. And it's correct. I mean, for me, it's been correct 100% of the time. So blessing. And thanks for that input, Miguel. Ian Harris, let's give you the megaphone.
Yeah, I was just wondering how folks are dealing with sort of the security of the information that they're using. Is anyone kind of like finding their own silos, APIs, et cetera, as opposed to just pasting it into kind of public GPT or any one of the other open ones? I'd love to kind of hear how folks are dealing with that in a business case.
Anybody?
The thing I was mentioning before, that is a big concern for sure for enterprises, especially with their IP. And that is kind of the thing that cognitive services search with AI, where it's your model that you're chatting against, and that is their offering. And I have yet to dig into it too deeply, but I know that offering is there, and that need is there too, for sure.
Yeah, I think that's what I heard as well from OpenAI. Does that help? Ian? Yes?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Azure is one example. OpenAI does not have that yet, unless you have the API enabled, right?
API, yeah.
Yep.
Everything is private unless you set it to like incognito, their incognito mode, and then that info gets deleted after 30 days. So it stays in their system for you to use it on your own.
I was going to say too that this is Brian Yep with Immerse. There's that toggle, I think, that was mentioned when you have, I don't know if it's just on the paid version, but there's a toggle where it doesn't save chats. We've also, since we play in a really competitive space, we try to be generic a little bit about the question, but try to still have it pointed enough to try to get a solution, just to get some creative ideas.
Great. Next hand up, I'm going to push it on to Jim. Let's move that ball over.
Yeah, I'll go after Matt. Let's have Matt go.
Sure, Matt.
Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, what's going on, friends? This is Matt from, I met some folks from AltSpace back in the day. And, so one thing I do is children's music. And I'm like full on doing Zoom concerts. Like I actually have to leave at 1:45 of a concert in Georgia. So I have to go after that. I'm in Baltimore, Maryland. And one thing I think about with AI is the fact that it can generate music videos. So something that I've been experimenting with is Video Killed the Radio Star, which is a really interesting thing where you can give it a prompt, be like, let's say I wanted a video with like dancing alphabet letters, and it will generate a whole video, and I can take one of my tracks that I recorded, plug it in there, boom, and it will generate an entire music video for me. So I'm like, that's pretty cool. Now, some of it is kind of weird. It's a little bit like that fake Pizza Hut commercial. I don't know if you've seen that one going around, but it is better than where it was this time last year. So, or that fake beer commercial that's like, that ends really dystopianly. But if you guys know, like the whole world explodes. But the beginning of it was great. So that's something I've been using it for. I've also been using Microsoft Designer because sometimes I'll spend 2-3 hours working on a project on Canva. And with Microsoft Designer, I've been knocking out projects in like 20-30 minutes. You know, it's been definitely speeding up the workflow. So that's designer.microsoft.com. And then the other thing is I keep trying to tell some folks, if you can't find the mute button on Zoom, I don't know how you're going to do up against AI, you know? So I think like AI is like a very serious thing. And I definitely want to get more people tech savvy, tech literate, because a lot of things are going to change in the next 3 to 5 years. And I don't know how to say that without fear marketing. So yeah, so there's that. But again, like that's kind of what I'm doing with it, and I just kind of want to understand it better. I think like the only way, you know, it can generate children's music. So I think the only way to stay ahead of the AI is to innovate, and that's why I do a lot of stuff with VR as well, because I think there's things that VR does that are just kind of amazing. It's very impressive. So I'm going to pass it on with that.
Thank you for that input. I appreciate the links too. I want to go play around with that and become my own video star or music star.
It's pretty cool stuff. I enjoy it, and it will save to your Google Drive.
That's cool. Jim, you're up, buddy.
Yeah, great segue, Matt, because you read my mind. We haven't even touched upon video and graphics. I've been writing for decades. I can't draw a stick figure without a ruler, okay? And I have been absolutely blown away by what I've been able to do with Midjourney. So I'd like to hear other people talk about, from the marketing perspective, from the communicator perspective, how AI and tools like Midjourney, Active Diffusion has helped you.
Yeah, let's talk about Midjourney. Who has a Midjourney account? Who has a Discord account? That's a question. Okay, not everybody. I see you, Michael Chow, with your little clap there. Can't see everybody. So Discord is a community application. We'll just touch on that real quick. If you don't have a Discord, go check out discord.com. It's great. I'll put a link to our Discord in the chat here. So if you're not part of our VR Networking Discord, go join it. If you don't have a Discord, it'll prompt you to create an account. It's really like a group chat function with a room where you could have a Zoom call or audio call and play video games together within the app. Midjourney is an AI software that allows you to prompt up images using text. So if you want to check out Midjourney, I'll put down the Discord link, the Midjourney link, and the VR Networking Discord invite here for you guys to check it out. While I get that ready, so let's give somebody a chance to talk about what they're doing for visuals in their marketing. Anybody could go. Open floor.
Yeah, I've been using it quite a bit for creating, kind of custom stock photos and stuff like that. I love Midjourney. I've also enjoyed playing around with Stable Diffusion and Dolly as well. I actually have an app that I got. I don't know if y'all have ever used AppSumo before, but they have all of these like lifetime deals on things. And I think I got access for like $29 one-time payment of $29 to this one app called Airbrush.ai, and it actually lets you switch between the different AI engines. So it has like all three of those with Stable Diffusion, Dolly, as well as Midjourney, but then there's like several others as well. And it's fun to kind of toggle it between those and see the ways that it changes the generations. So I know they usually describe Midjourney as having more of like kind of a gothic feel to it. So that's been fascinating. And then there's just some really cool prompt libraries that are out there. So I've enjoyed using those to, get ideas and see what other people are entering to actually get certain looks and feels of things. I know using certain artist names, it seems like usually does really well in generating, a certain output. So that's been really interesting. It's been cool to see. I think they just went up to like Midjourney 5.1, which the detail in that is just amazing. So
Yeah, like realistic. Before
yeah,
it was realistic, but now it's like realistic.
it's crazy.
That is crazy. You can tell the skin, you could like a pores, you could zoom in on that. Every blackhead on every AI model. Ian. Yeah, I have Dragos. Dragos, what do you got going on? I know that you're working in AR, AR and art. I'm curious about what is your raise hand here on AI art.
Yeah, I'm actually started with Midjourney, but right now I'm using Stable Diffusion, which is exactly Midjourney with open source code and everything. And you can install it locally and you can run it as much as you want if your GPU is powerful enough, of course. One thing they have, and that's not on Midjourney, it's called ControlNet. And you can actually sketch what you want or put on a very rough sketch, and they would respect perfectly the contours of what you draw there. So this way I can put my idea in there and allow Stable Diffusion to make it look good. And I think that helps me a lot because Midjourney looks amazing, but it has that Midjourney look that everybody knows it's Midjourney at some point, just because everything is very, I don't know, Disney, Pixar, perfect. I don't know how to call the style. But with Stable Diffusion, you can bypass a bit that. It's a bit harder to know it's AI, I guess. It's not as good looking, but yeah, and all these plugins you can put there are very powerful. So yeah, we use that a lot and we just sketch out what we want to see. We do sketches, we do, I don't know, all kind of small fixes. We can put it again to generate more. I even did icons and logos, and yeah, it's crazy. Things like this exist.
Yeah, if you guys are also unhappy with a corner in your room, take a picture of that, upload it to Midjourney, and tell it to redesign that space, and give it like whatever furniture you're thinking about, or give it multiple images. I've done this and it's amazing. I've literally set up a space in my apartment where it is designed by Midjourney. I would take a picture, but I'm not home right now, so I can't. But it is great. It's really cool. And there's a bunch of other applications, like you're saying, Dragos, where you can design a home just by giving a couple prompts, an idea, and it'll design the layout for you. It'll use AI so you can shrink and expand your home layout. So architects, if you're here in this room, I'm sorry. Interior designers, also sorry. Actually, I'm sorry for everybody. In the next couple of years, it's going to be crazy. The stuff that's coming out is awesome. It's cool from our point of view, but also what is the future of our jobs if AI continues in this trajectory, which it will, right? What does the future look like? Has anybody thought about that in depth or stressed about it, right? Not really think about, more like cry in the night into your pillow. Steve, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw out a software idea. I'm not sure if anybody's been using it yet, Runway ML. But if you're not familiar with Runway ML, it actually will take any video asset that you have and you can keyframe out and create a chroma chroma screen for the background of it. So many of you know that I've got a background working with the Engage platform, and on Engage, we actually do compositing with chroma screens. So you can pretty much take any video from your cell phone and turn it into a pseudo hologram and be able to take that directly into a virtual reality platform like Engage using the green screen interface. And it's pretty slick, looks pretty cool, and it's all, you know, pretty seamless. So pretty interesting use case there.
That's awesome. Do you need a specific, do you need the LiDAR on your phone, or is it just any camera?
Any camera.
That's awesome.
Pretty much you can take any video from any source. So I was working on a project one time, and you know, the greatest speech that was ever told, the Buster Keaton kind of speech, I actually keyed that out and brought him in, and was able to kind of, you know, almost put him right in the middle of a scene here. So it's, yeah, any video it will work with. It's a little wonky, you know, it's not high precision. If you want it to be perfect, you're going to spend a lot more time going in, but you can fix it, you know, and it's getting better at every iteration, of course, you know. So Runway ML is the software. I'll drop a link here in the chat.
Yeah, please. Thank you. I want to make sure that we gave everybody a chance to speak, a chance to share. So anybody who hasn't spoken yet, this is your time. Trip, did you raise your hand? Was that a raised hand?
Yeah, I've been using it for competitive assessments and analysis, but
Yes.
starting with a very wide berth, right? So you go in and say, okay, here are the 5 companies or 10 companies you're looking at, then taking them piece by piece and then saying, okay, I'm competing with them. What would I offer that would make this an interesting offer? And then producing kind of a report. And basically allows for you very quickly to understand what the competitive marketplace looks like. The other part I use it for is course development. So that, for example, say I'm getting invited to speak somewhere. I used to spend a lot of time writing the course and then find out, okay, I'm going or not. Now I use that, and that's what I suggest. I use that as a suggestion, and I send that to them and see what they think. So it kind of allows for me to yes or no very quickly. But the other part of this is you can, I've been kind of going in 5 or 6 levels deep to figure out what's going on, but then saying, okay, now I was this customer, I'm an HR executive in this size company, what would I want from you? And then I let it go over, and I said, oh, I don't like that. And I reject the first answer, and it does it again. And then you get it, and it's interesting to see the distinctions and differences, but that's kind of what I've done a lot of, because a lot of times what I do is scenario planning with my clients for go-to-market. So I say, okay, let's look at your bigger competitors. And there's a lot of that out there. It's the small competitors that you can't find. So that's one of the things I've been doing, a lot of competitive profiling and using it as a tool to speed up the process so that I can sit there literally in real time, say to somebody, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? So it's kind of fascinating.
I want to hear a little bit more. Give me another minute on that competitive research. Like, what is the process that you go through to get, like, how much information are you feeding it? Are you feeding it one company at a time, and you're getting like all the in-depth, like what
I do both. I actually look at industries and say, tell me the big competitors in the marketplace, right? And then I say, okay, the next question or prompt will be, tell me about the smaller companies that are competing with these people and what makes them different, right? And then the next question is, okay, let's say these companies go against head-to-head against each other. What would probably come out of what a major customer? Here's my ideal kind of profile for this product, and I make up, a number of qualities in that person and company that I know that their customer ideal profile is, and then I say, now tell me what you would do. Well, how can we do this? Now, the other thing is you can draw similarities. So you can say, okay, you got a group of 10 companies, let's say robotic companies, right? Because I'm going to a show in the end of the month. I'd say, okay, what makes these companies the same? Right? And then the second question is, what makes them different? How do they position themselves differently? Who are their leaders and what do they do? So,
okay.
But I kind of go in and it gives you in a very quick order sequencing. It gives you a lot of different capabilities. It also gives you ways of approaching sale. I do a lot of work with founders and their chief, well, they don't have revenue officers yet. They're too early. So I say, look, here's what we're doing together to help you build that go to market. Here's some things that I would think you want to think about. What have you done? And it gives you 5 or 6 points. Now, what's great, because any more than that's overwhelmed, right? So you can actually go in and say, give me 4 or 5 key points that you would talk to this person about before you talk to them. Now, because it's a little bit lagging, you just have to know that there may be some funding issues that are coming in and some of those things. But over time, because I know Reuters, for example, is doing a lot of work with going into their own custom data, their own information. They're sorting through it and figuring out what's going on.
Yeah.
So when I have a large client, I say, look, let's look at what we're doing and how we're going to go about this. And why don't we experiment with AI on this? Let's look at what we can do to make this a much more, a better scenario for people.
Yeah, I've experimented with feeding it all of my information, but it's hard to find my competitors' information and put that in. What I'm really curious about is developing multi-agents, and this is what we're going to be talking about next week. And so I want to wrap up by also inviting everybody to not next week, but in 2 weeks from now, on the 26th, we'll be talking about AutoGPT, which is essentially OpenAI, but imagine having multi OpenAIs or ChatGPTs talking to each other and trying to solve the goal for you. So that's what we're going to be talking about on the 26th. And how we're going to use AutoGPT is through an online app called God Mode. It's something you guys could go check out now and play around with, so that way you come in prepared for the next event. Just check out godmode.space for how to set that up. I haven't played around with it yet. I plan on doing that this next week, so I am prepared. But if you guys are interested in coming in, we're going to be doing this in Immersed. So we'll see everybody that is in Immersed. Everybody who's in Immersed, wave, so everybody knows that you are an avatar. Hey guys, we'll be in a space like that. So if you have a VR headset, we're going to jump in there and we're going to hang out together in person, right? But
Roberto?
again, yeah.
I decided to come out into real life
yeah.
for the close of this meeting. Good to see y'all. The other thing that's going to be different, and the reason why it's going to be really valuable if you can join us in Immersed, is we're going to leverage something that our colleague Jeff Weiser calls focus verse, and something called the Pomodoro technique, which is an Italian educator who came up with a way to acquire information, and this is a productivity hack essentially. And so the goal is, by the end of that event, anybody who wants to will actually have God Mode working on their computer. So that's the objective for the next event. We're very excited. It's going to be very hands-on.
Yeah, it is going to be more of a hands-on event. So it'll be, we'll still have an open discussion. We'll still talk about things, but we will go through the setup process. So everybody in the room will be able to, and on Zoom, will be able to go and have their own AutoGPT running. So when we get the time, in 2 weeks from now, we'll set that up. We have the event already on LinkedIn. I should have had that prepared, shouldn't I? I will put the link here on the chat here, so you guys can RSVP now, just to make sure you don't forget. I will send out an invite, and everybody else will send out an invite for that. But that's, the next event is what I'm really looking forward to, because we're going to play around with a multi-dimensional AI. What's cool about it is that it does all the work for you. So it does all the research, it compiles all the information, and then it gives you the end result. Get it. Sorry, guys. Let me just find it. Here it is. Okay, so to wrap things up, I want to say thank you. I know that it's about to be 2 o'clock. I don't want to hold anybody who is not able to stay for any longer. And again, thank you for coming and staying and participating and giving your insight and your secrets away. It's important that we do that. This is it. I feel like the future isn't really competition in the way that we ever thought it would be. It is now going to be a shared co-opetition of sorts. How do we become better? And that is VR networking's ultimate goal, is to make every individual who comes and participates in these little town halls here better by the next time. By the time you leave here, I want you guys to be better in business and marketing. in everything that you do. If anybody wants to stay for the next couple of minutes, we can chat. Jim, Alex, Todd, did I miss anything?
Probably, but I'm sure it wasn't that important.
I don't think so.
If you guys want to stay. I'm going to put the link to the next event here at the bottom of the chat. Please go RSVP. I will make sure to send this chat over to everybody on an email. So you guys have all these links and you don't have to like rush in and get that stuff before I close this event. Other than that, you know, if you guys got to leave, much love. Thank you for coming. And I will see you guys in 2 weeks.